Honestly, I feel like question and answers are very hard. I'm going to restart this question and answer just because I feel like I'll get on one question and talk for an hour, and then I'm like, okay, well, that's half the video. I don't think everybody wanted to hear one answer for half of the video. So if you do not know what this is a 3 spreads in one. Well, I guess 3 bases in one because it's not the full spread. So I did go ahead and start filming the bases for these spreads. You'll see what the base is in a second. It's just like the base prior to the plans. And I filmed them, but I got overwhelmed with having like 9 spreads I needed to do. So I decided for these 3, since they were kind of a little bit more boring weeks, not at all boring looks, like you're going to see and be like, wow, these are all so beautiful. But they were a little bit boring weeks, so I figured I could just do the bases and then just do a voiceover and talk about whatever. And I decided to do a question and answer based on questions on my Instagram. I know this won't be everyone's cup of tea, but I don't plan on doing this all the time. Actually, probably won't plan on doing it ever if I don't have to. And we'll be back to regular Plan With Me's the next video that's a Plan With Me. So let's go ahead and get into the questions. I'm going to try and be as like rapid fire as possible because there's a lot of them, and I do tend to get stuck on the same question for like 5 minutes. So first question is, actually, let me give a little refresh. Okay, wow, there's actually a lot more. Okay. So I'm not going to answer all of them, like I said, just because there's a lot of them, but I'm going to try to answer as many as I can. So the first question is Disneyland or Disney World, which do you prefer? And I prefer Disney World. We have an annual pass for Disney World. I probably won't be renewing it next year, my next like billing year, I guess, I don't know, but I probably will renew it then the year after and then just continue being an annual pass holder. A lot of people are like, oh, why would you go to Disney whenever you could go here? Honestly, Disney with kids is way easier, I feel like, than any other vacation. There's so many places that I would like to go, but would be very, very boring for toddlers. And yeah, I could just stay home, but like Disney is for us is a super easy trip. And it's not as expensive as you would think. Like I've priced out different trips and I could go on like 6 Disney trips for the price of that with being an annual pass holder and all the discounts and stuff like that. But Disneyland versus Disney World with a toddler living in the central time zone, going to Disneyland is kind of really hard because if he wakes up at 7:30 every day, that's actually 5:30, and then the parks don't open till 8 or 9, and then by the time that we're at the parks and like ready to go, he's ready for a nap almost, and that kind of like screws up the whole day. And it's a little bit smaller, which is nice if you're going like with a friend or not a toddler who's not accustomed to the time zone. But I do like Disney World, just there's more to do, more restaurants, more like parks and things like that. And I don't know, Disneyland's still nice though, but I do prefer Disney World. Any new changes coming to the shop? The biggest change recently has been the change of the day that we're releasing our items. We've been releasing our items. I don't know if I keep saying items. We're releasing new product every Friday at noon Eastern. Pretty much 99.9% of all Fridays for the past 5+ years. So us changing it to a Wednesday is kind of a huge deal, something I thought about for a while. And actually, when we did it for the party, we did our new releases on a Wednesday. I was like, wow, I love this. I love doing it all like together. And I was like, the girls are going to hate this. Like, I feel like they're going to be like not into it. And whenever I went to work and I was telling them how much I loved it, they were like, us too. And I was like, y'all, I think this is like needs to happen. So there was that. And then we are going to be changing the wiggles. Like, I feel like in a pretty substantial change. It's going to be bigger. It's going to be a little bit more price wise, but it's going to be like for what you're getting, you're going to get a lot. But the clear wiggles are going to be doing a facelift, and I'm actually going to be doing some stuff to the solid wiggles eventually too, but the clear ones are going to be coming first. So those are the biggest changes. Don't plan on changing a lot else because, I mean, here and there little things, but I feel like we got a good thing going and I like consistency, so that's where we're at. So the next question is do you think you're having a boy or a girl? I actually know what we're having. As of right now, I found out at about 10 or 11 weeks because I did do the blood test. I did the blood test with Bennett, and it's just, I don't know, it's just a preference of mine. But I already know what we're having, and I will let you guys know, I think within the next week, what I'm having. And then also I was hoping, I don't really care. Nick and I really don't care. But if we got to pick in a perfect world, I was hoping for a boy and Nick was hoping for a girl. So who will it be? We don't know. Or, well, we know. You guys don't know. But we're very excited. And we would have been excited either way because we don't really care. So let's see. A lot of the questions were how many kids I want, if I wanted 2, if the plan was for 2, were we trying? So yes, we did want 2. If it didn't happen for us, then we would have been fine with 1, or we would have considered adopting later. I don't know if we'll ever have 3. I'm thinking biologically no, but possibly adopting if we like for some reason are like, we've made a mistake and we want more kids. But I feel like 2 is like a really good number for us. So 99% we're just gonna have 2. So, and we wanted 2, planned for 2. Let's see. A lot of the questions also were about names, and just like with Bennett, I won't be revealing name until birth, just because I feel like I'm always worried about like having a negative association if somebody tells me something like horrible about the name, or somebody says that they hate the name and like gives like a full paragraph, and like, or if somebody tells me a bad story about a person with the same name, I'll have like a negative connotation, and like I feel like I'm really picky about like finding names. This one has like a really cool story, I guess, but which I'll tell you eventually. But yeah, so I don't want to like tell the name till after it's like on paper, and I could change it, but I'm not gonna change it. So I'll let you guys know when they're born what their name is. Do you still use your bullet journal? Not currently, just because I can barely keep up with my sticker planning, which is what I prefer the most. I've been mostly doing my pre-planning on my phone, and then my sticker planning is definitely my first priority, because honestly this is like my scrapbook, my life, my pride and joy, so it's important to me. Let's see. What part of planning process do you get most excited for? And it's actually these bases. I really love doing it. I feel like a lot of people really like putting the base down whenever it comes to like, if you plan like this, it's just like relaxing, because I feel like you don't have to think. And I feel like once I had to pull out my character stickers and start putting those down, that's where it becomes a little bit more of like, okay, like let's do this. Like, and you have to do like a lot of flipping and a lot of thinking. This is like no thought at all. I just put it all down, and I love like the beauty of like all of the stickers laid down. I just think it's so fun. And this November mystery is fire. Fire. So beautiful. And the full finished spread is like amazing. The only thing I'm kicking myself for is I actually took this kit, like it was already cut, but like Emily hadn't collated it yet. And I took all of the sheets, but I forgot to take the wiggle, and the wiggle itself is like beautiful. And I didn't use the wiggle because I didn't like take it, and I didn't think about it until after. And Emily's like, I just like realized you didn't have the wiggle. And I was like, and she's like, do you want it? And I'm like, Emily, my whole spread's pretty much down, but that was that. Let's see. A lot of people asked also about Bennett's feelings about being a big brother, and he's 2. He has no idea. He just thinks like we're probably crazy when we're talking about a baby being my belly. The one time I was like, oh, kiss the baby, and like he kissed my belly, and then he wanted to kiss his Nick's belly, so he has no idea. He's 2. He like, all he cares about right now is chocolate milk and cheesy chips, and that's pretty much it. And Blippi. That's it. Let's see. Has your sticker organization changed since the video 2018? I don't believe so. I think little things have changed, and honestly, I have a list at work. I'm trying to get plan these done first, because I feel like they're a little bit more time sensitive. People get a little bit annoyed whenever they're like super late. So I'm trying to get through those first, but I do have a list of videos that I want to film, and an updated storage is something I want to film, just because I feel like small things have changed, and maybe so many small things have changed it kind of is like significant. So hopefully within the next 4 to 6 months, that'll be something I bring at you. Also a flip through, that's also on my list. And also I need to redo my Bougie 101, which I'm so upset because it took me forever to film that, because it's like an instructional video, which I'm not good at those. And then the audio was messed up, and I was like, how does this happen? Like my audio never messes up, so I was like kind of annoyed. Let's see. When did you find out you're pregnant? Do you know the gender? Any name ideas? So a lot of that was another question, is like kind of the story of how I found out I was pregnant. And I actually found out I was pregnant the Wednesday after the planner party. I was like pretty tired, but I assumed it was the planner party. But then when I started to think about it, I was like, maybe not. And I actually found out at 3 weeks, 2 days. So it was like pretty early prior to missed period. And I just took a test and I was positive. So that's kind of like how I found out. No like crazy, like I was so sick and this and that. And I was just like tired. And then I feel like once you're pregnant, the second one, you just kind of like have different feelings, and like you have like you know what being pregnant feels like. And I just felt like something was different, and different usually means like possibly pregnant. So I was like, could be. So I was. That's kind of the story of how it happened. And then, and a lot of people also were asking about the planner party, and is this why I'm not having another planner party? And it's kind of yes. I had an issue with the hotel. I'm not going to go into it too much, but it really like kind of put a damper on my mood, and I kind of then was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I have so many things going on. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I have business. Like, I love doing the planner parties. I love like going to events as well, but I was just like, I just can't do this anymore. This is like, I believe everything happens for a reason. And I think that the reason why this specific thing happened to me was just like, Andre, like, you need to give yourself a break. Like, this is just like causing you so much stress, and like, it's not even the event, it's not planning the event, it's not anything at the event, it's always just something different. So it was in that case, there's a issue, and I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And then I actually canceled the first leg of my Disney trip just because I was so stressed out and so tired. And then the day that we would have left for Disney, I found out that I was pregnant. So then I canceled the second leg of my Disney trip because I had so much blood work I had to go do. And then, so I had to be home. And just in general, I was so tired, and I knew the sick was just about to roll around the corner. So that's the other reason why I canceled those Disney trips, was just that it was just crazy. And then I was kind of like, I can't do a planner party with like a 3-month-old. It's not gonna work out. So I was like, I can't do a planner party next year. It's just, I felt like there were so many things, and I believe everything happens for a reason. And how this all lined up is that I was just like, my body was like, Andrea, you just need to take a year and just chill out. Because the planner party is a lot. It's a lot of pre-planning and like figuring everything out, organizing everything, and it's like honestly planning a wedding every year. If you've ever planned a wedding, and the girls do help me with as much as they can, but like I plan the wedding every year. So that's that. Again, 5 minutes on one subject. I am so sorry. How long does it take typically from start to finish to designing a kit? Obviously I work with some fabulous artists. Also check out this like maneuver. Well, I'm probably going to like re-speed this a little bit if I go a little bit over, but the maneuver on the double tall box, it's pretty cool. Took a lot of brain power. So I work with a lot of really cool artists, so I don't have to draw anything, which is nice. So, I mean, most of you guys probably know the process. I don't draw kits. It's not my thing, but I like curate them. I think that's like a good word. I mentioned in a plan with me, like, I feel like design was like a really terrible word to use, but like at the time, curate just sounds weird. But how long it takes me from start to finish with a kit, like from start, like I get the art and then finish to sending it to Kirsten to print. I would say for the most part, if a kit has like everything that I need in it, like a ton of elements, scene, and like I don't have to go into like their past art and recolor things to like bring things in, or I'm not like doing just a full recolor just to kind of spice it up, I would say in the perfect world, it takes me about an hour and 15 to an hour and 30 minutes. I feel like Kittenish Jess, because I work with her so often and she knows exactly what I need, those are the fastest ones for me. I can get those done in like an hour. Usually whenever a lot of people are like, oh, Andrea, like you got this kit out so fast, like whenever another artist releases art, full boxes take me 30 minutes or less for the most part. Again, unless I have to recolor and bring a lot of elements in, the full boxes itself do take the longest time, but it's only 30 minutes. And then everything else is just like quick color changes from there. So that's what just is the rest of it. And putting it in silhouette is literally like a 5-minute thing. So but like some kits have taken me the upwards of like 3 hours. So I'm doing a lot of pulling in old art, recoloring the whole thing, changing things up if I don't have a scene and I have to kind of like do different stuff. Like obviously the scene helps a lot. But yeah, so that's kind of about how long it takes. I'm pretty fast at it because I've probably done like probably over 1,000 collections at this point. So I mean, it's just honestly second nature to me, and I do have like a formula to everything that I do, and everything's set up as far as like the formatting for all the colors and stuff. Pretty simple for me to go in and change them, add the glitters and things like that. Super easy. And I took a lot of time to format everything so it's as simple as possible. Let's see. Where do you draw inspiration from when designing your kits? So like I said, I do have artists who draw my kits. Me and Jessica both do mood boards for my kits. So mood boards would be picking out the colors. The themes usually I come up with. Sometimes the girls do give me a theme idea, but So like, let's say I do a mood board, I have my theme, and then I have to get pictures that kind of like match the theme. I have to write down elements, like usually like 15-ish, 20-ish elements that match, and then kind of like describe the girls I want, describe the scene I want, tell what glitter, and then colors, and kind of just like describe it all out. So as far as inspiration goes, I just kind of like look at what's trendy now and plan for that for the next year, because I like to plan super, super far in advance. So like for Christmas, I start to like look around at like what's kind of trendy now for Christmas and how I can kind of incorporate that into next year's releases. And sometimes I even do some mood boards for like this holiday, because I'm inspired. So that is that. Will you be doing non-wiggle or fashion box extras for future mystery kits? Probably not. We do already do a ton of extras for the ultimate. I'm assuming they're talking about kits. We do usually fashion, label, glitter, 15 millimeter, and then foil, which I think we only quote like 2 sticker sheet extras and then 1 foil sheet extra. So I think we already put in an extra 7+ extras. So I don't think I'm gonna be switching those out, just because it kind of like the formula works. They're all really usable products, and with the amount of products that we put in, we obviously have to keep the cost down low, and things like sticky notes, washi tapes bring up the cost quite a bit. So doing other items and getting more bang for your buck is kind of like where we're at with those. Will you close the shop when you have the baby? Probably not. I did not with Bennett, just because how my shop runs, we have a full like staff, and I still have to do some things, but for the most part it all rolls on by itself. And I do always have enough. I usually have like 30+ exclusive kits ready to go, and at least 6 to 9 months of mystery ready to go at any time, so it won't inhibit me to be out of work for a couple of weeks. And even if I do have to work a little bit, Nick is home, so he is more than capable of helping me out, and I could always bring baby to work or go over to work for 5 minutes if I need to. So I don't close the shop just because I do have employees. They can handle everything themselves for the most part. And obviously they still need to work as well. So I don't usually close whenever I have a baby, and I didn't with Bennett. So was I surprised to find out I was pregnant? Yes, because we weren't really trying that month. So I was kind of confused as to when it happened. But I mean, can't be too surprised. Let's see. Have you ever, this is actually a good one. Have you ever made a custom only to have an art shop release similar art before you release yours? So not necessarily. I feel like honestly most themes, even if I release a winter wonderland theme, if somebody else released it, it'd probably be like different color scheme and things like that. But one time I released a carnival kit for a mystery, and I send my kits to print usually a good 4 or 5 months in advance to print, but I usually have the art, especially now, 9 months in advance. But I think Maggie of Crest Press, I think it was, released her mystery the month before my mystery was a carnival kit. I mean, I already had my mystery kit printed and cut, and I was like, oh boy. But they were like completely different. I was just kind of worried. There were a couple people who were like, oh, I already got a carnival kit, but the one was like pastel and mine was like bright colors. And yeah, so that was the only time that in 5 years that I was ever like, whoops. But at the same time, like, I have to plan ahead to be able to keep you guys like getting your kits on time and things like that. So things like that could happen, and I can't always take into consideration what other shops are doing. But luckily, like I said, they were very different. My mic cut out. So I remember what I asked last. I'm just going to do one more. We had a ton that I skipped over, but just because this is getting a little bit long, I'm going to have to readjust the like clips to make them longer. But the last question is what do you do with your declutter pile? So all of my kit extras, which would be my declutter pile and like other random little things that I declutter, I do put in a cello. It's not the kit cello, it's like the order cello, which are a little bit bigger. And whenever the order cello is full, I put it on Facebook and give it away. Just as a random comment, like you put a comment and then I just pick and give it away. I've done that once before and I really liked it. And I think that I'll keep doing it. I used to just put them in a bin and then bring them to the parties as like a declutter pile. But because we're not doing a party next year, I don't want to just like hoard around tons of sheets of stuff. So that is what I'm doing with those. And if you guys want a chance to win those, almost burped, definitely head over to Facebook and follow our group, and I'll probably do one of those in the future, probably soon, or probably just did one. So that's everything. I hope you guys like this video, and talk to you later. Bye.